Can you guys hear me now? I apologize. I was having a bit of a mic issue. Um, it wasn't plugged in correctly. So, welcome. We've got 10 of you guys watching, so you guys were enjoying the car sounds for that first qualifying session. This is our round number 9 of the season at Brand Hatch. We've gone through qualifying 1. Juggernaut by 9 thousandths of a second has beaten out John in this first session. We've got another qualifying session to come just in a moment's time. Yeah, I apologize. I should probably get one of those wireless mics, but yeah, this wire is a little bit unstable. Well, I'm glad you guys can hear me now, so hopefully it doesn't run into any issues down the line. But yeah, I'll go through everything in our second session, points-wise, as from what I know and all that good stuff. But from qualifying 1, it's Jug, John, Skep, top 3, Calzoner, and Carnival round out your top 5. Ichigo has put himself up into 6th, Radicus in 7th, Gucci 8th, Gert 9th, and Alphanesis rounds out your top 10. Deer Hunter, Redeemer, Palm Trio, Knight CRLR, Arabian Killer, Game Stopper, and Catcher round out the field. I will go and grab your championship standings from what has been updated. Unfortunately, the other weekend, wasn't last week, it was 2 weeks ago. We had a race at Nürburgring, but the server crashed, and it wasn't completed correctly. So I'm not sure what points are going to be awarded from that race. But from what we have from Japan, 5 points separate the top 2 in the championship by Juggernaut and VRA John. 5 points between them, 184 to 179. Stolowski, who is not here tonight, is in 3rd. He is 20 points clear of Skeppy, but he is 40 back from the top 2, so probably championship over for winning it at least. Neymar rounds out your top 5. He is also not here tonight. And it's Calzoner and Cold Carnival, Butch Giblet, Game Stopper, and Stylo round out your top 10. Gucci, Hulk Smash, Arabian Killer, Redeemer, and Ichigo your top 15. Those are your standings for the drivers. For the team championship, it's almost as close as the drivers, with Mercedes just barely edging out Lexus by 8 points, 360 to 352. Lamborghini 106 back from first place. Mercedes with 254, and then it's Ferrari and Audi rounding out your top 5. So that's what's on the line, mainly between Mercedes and Lexus, and then Jug and John for championships. But obviously, everybody up and down the field fighting for something. Skeppy obviously trying to get within striking distance of Stolowski, Calzoner, and Cold Carnival. Going to be trying to get in that top 5. Deer Hunter as well, trying to stay in the top 10, get a solid season on the books, and everybody else really making sure that they do the best that they possibly can in these final few rounds of the championship. I believe it's 3 to go, including this one. Obviously, we have 2 races tonight, as we are in qualifying number 2. No, it's not like F1, where we've got your eliminations, but qualifying 1 was for our first race tonight, and our second race of the night, both of them being 30 minutes long. This will be your grid lineup after this qualifying session ends. So hopefully that made sense, and makes a little bit more Got a while to go. Nobody's actually set a valid lap just yet. John will go and set your first lap time at 1:24.4, but I believe he's got a little bit more time than that, as we've seen from the previous session. So Carnival did not set a valid time that time by. Ichigo will cross the line and go 4th in his Audi. Phantom, when's that CSL DD coming? Because I ordered one as well, and it's not supposed to come for like another month. I don't know how when you ordered yours or how that shipping is looking, but it'll be fun when we get it, I can tell you that. Ichigo in sector 3. Let's check his timings. 6:10's down, so not really on a flyer. Jug coming to the line. He's gonna find about 2 and a bit tenths. Go provisional P1 24.216. So John's gotta find about a tenth, well actually almost 2 tenths of a second. He's actually finding it right now, so about 2 tenths up his TTM John. Recently signed to Top Tier Motorsport. Know that team very well. Good group of guys. John's about 3 tenths up as he heads into the second half of this lap. Hoping to not get held up by any cars ahead of him. Taking that curb so nicely. He's found oh, just invalidates on the exit. And that lap will not be an improvement compared to his previous best. Is Calzoner going on a good one? Yes, he is. He's found about 3, almost actually losing a bit of time on the exit here. Calzoner, big mistake. And will not improve on that previous lap. He'll go again though, and he knows he's got the time in it. He's just got to hook up that final sector. John on the left-hand side of the screen there, getting back to the garage. Just what he can. End of November, ordered in August, so that should be quite nice. I ordered mine beginning of October, and it said shipping from then would have started November 29th, so I probably won't get until like Christmas time. But hey, whenever I get it, man, and I hope it goes well for you. DD with 2.5x wheel. Yeah, I got the same one. I got that in the I believe it was CSL pedals. Hopefully it comes pretty soon for you. I know Chandler's getting his soon. They are getting shipped out, which is nice to hear. Dude, through the back half of this track. And no, not on a lap. So, deer not on a lap here. Anybody else? Radicus is doing surprisingly well in this Porsche. I know it's a very difficult car to drive. It is not very fast on the straights either, I could tell you that, but Radicus is making it work for him at the moment. P7. Starting a lap here so we can see a lap from the Porsche. A little bit wide, but he's 4/10 up at the moment. Nicely on the throttle, 5/10 up now. It's just a straight line speed that's the problem with this race car. He's looking really hooked up with it right now. Down the back straight. 5, almost now 6/10 up on his Delta. Radicus absolutely flying right now. Chuck it in 4th gear, get it back on the power, don't go wide. 6.5/10 up now. 2 45-degree curves. Oh, very close to invalidating on the exit there. And the 3rd for the 2nd one. He's found so much time in this lap. Down to 2nd gear now. Final corner coming up. 3rd gear, chuck it in. All the way out to the exit, 8.5/10 improvement. Where will this put him? Oh, now it's 9/10 improvement. Where does it put him? It puts him all the way up to 4th. So an incredible lap by Radicus to jump the entire midfield and put himself in the mix. 7 and a bit tenths off of the top time at the moment, but still a very impressive time from Radicus there. He's got 5.5 minutes to try and grab more time in that. John not on a lap, and he's sitting in 3rd. Skeppy's actually found a bit of pace in this session compared to the previous one. The final corner will be heading up to start a lap here. See if we can get on forward here. Turn 1, a lot of entry curve, and I don't think that's the fastest way through there. He's lost a lot of time. This is Brand Hatch in the UK. Super tight, super technical track with a lot of grass and runoff if you get it wrong. And Skeppy has gotten it wrong on this occasion, so he'll jump back into the pits. Jug has found some more time, has jumped up into the 23s with a .997. He's looking quite comfortable out front, but I believe these two of Skep and John and their Mercedes both have some time in their current laps. Is Calzoner on a lap in P5? No, he is not, down 3 seconds. Ichigo is going to be starting a lap, so we'll stay on board. This Audi. 3.5 minutes to go in this second qualifying session. This decides the grid for the race 2 of the night. Ichigo fluid through turn 1, but didn't get the exit he would have been hoping for down to 1st gear for the hairpin. Keep it hooked up to that inside curb. Power out on the exit. You can lose a little bit of the grass and Astro on the exit as well. It's a little bit grippier than your normal grass on the exits around here. But he's lost a bit of time. The end of Sector 1. 10.5 down now. Down the back straight, down the hill, and it'll straight back up. The anchors and fly it in 3rd gear. And he's not gotten the rotation that he would have wanted through there, and that is an invalid time. John's just behind him, and he's up 4.5 tenths now into Sector 3. A little bit of a slide, but he's kept the car in good condition. Valid. Found some time through there. 6 tenths up into the final 2 corners now. Can John close the lap out to try and snatch back provisional pole with 2 minutes remaining through the final corner? A little bit tentative, I think, on the breaks through there. He's 4.5 tenths up. Will it be enough to snatch pole from Jug? Yes, it will. It'll be a 23.967, so he'll just barely take that away from Jug. If John has some fuel in that car, he could go again. Is Skeppy up on his time? No, he's starting a lap now. Is Jug on a lap? No, he is not. We'll hop on Skeps because he is the first of the top 3 to go for a lap. 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining in this session. Skeppy a little bit down through turn 1. He'll have the entire lap to try and make it back up. Didn't get a great run out of the hairpin, and now down the back. I'll call it the short chute because we've got this backstretch coming up. He's 0.5 tenth down at the sector 1 split line, but he's got some nice rotation. And well, actually, no, he's not gotten a good exit. It looked like he went in a little bit too hot. Down a tenth. Third gear elect. 10.5 down now, and it's just not hooking up for Skeppy at the moment. Doesn't click that entire inside curve, but again, still losing more time, and Skeppy just not hooking up the lap as much as he would have been wanting to. 2 tenths down into the final corner, unless he made a huge mistake on that previous lap. It's not going to be an improvement here for BRL Skeppy. He's found a little bit of time through there, so maybe a little bit hopeful if he gets to the end of the lap even. Ichigo's jumped up ahead of Radicus for P number 4. Jug is down 3 tenths. That's probably it for jugging this qualifying session. Excuse me. I think John and him will split pole positions. John also not improving, so nobody finding time at the end of this session. Can Skeppy find time? He's dead even on the time as qualifying 2 is over. Down the back straight for Skeppy. Did he get a good exit? We cannot see his delta anymore, unfortunately. Radicus currently 5th in that Porsche. Looks quite good for him. Ichigo as well in that Audi in 4th. Usually quite good in race trim as well, so keep an eye out for him to make an appearance on the podium. As Skeppy cuts that corner, and surely that is invalid, and that should be it unless we had a little bit of desync, but I don't believe we have. And yeah, that'll be it. So that's it for qualifying number 2. So John and Jug, the 2 championship rivals, have split pole positions for our 2 sprint races tonight. Jug will start from pole in race 1. John will start from pole in race 2. Race number 2 classification goes as follows: as John to Jug, row 1. Skeppy and Ichigo make row 2. It's Radicus and Calzoner, and then Carnival Palm Tree Oil. And then Gert and Deer Hunter round out your top 10. Gucci Lucci 11th. Alpha Nesis in 12th. Redeemer 13th. Arabian Killer, Game Stopper, Knight CRLR, and Catcher round out your field for tonight. We're going to have 17 drivers for each race tonight. And I think we're going to have some very good action to follow in these half-an-hour races coming up here in just a moment's time. So we wait for the game to reset itself so we can get into race number 1. McLaren feels so awkward. Yeah, I've heard from a lot of drivers, if you don't have the setup nailed or the driving style doesn't suit that McLaren, it's a very big handful for a lot of drivers. So, well, very oversteer usually in that. But it has proven it's got some pace in it. John got second in last season's championship in that machinery. Second to BRL ACC, who won in his Audi. It should go, say, a much better lap than Q1, and I agree. It should go down in 6th in this session. He'll be in 4th for race number 2. But keep an eye on him in that Audi to make some noise here in these races. You can see next to the driver's number, it's an orange box with the number 1 in it, obviously. We've had it every week. You have to make one mandatory pit stop in the race. You can do it at any time you would like after lap 1 and before the final lap. So they've got the entire 30 minutes to decide when they want to pit. Do you want to refuel? Do you want to go short, go long? What do you want to do? All up to these drivers. So we will see what the consensus is in 30 seconds time. Used to the Lexus, this feels way, way different. Yeah, I can imagine. That Lexus is absolutely one of the most stable cars on the game. It's probably one of the best to learn the game in.
10 seconds.
So, it's a very different feeling, I can imagine. Well, we're gonna get rolling here in a moment's time. And Jug will lead us to green in race number 1. Catra starting in the pit lane. We get rolling down the front stretch. Jug versus John in this championship fight. Let's hope we get a fair one to the finish. 3 rounds remain, 4 races to go in this championship fight. We are green here in Brand Hatch for race number 1, and Jug's got an absolutely magnificent start, and so has BRL ACC, looking up the inside of John, but not close enough to make the move into turn number 1. Will there be anything happening into turn 2? A little bit further back, there's a little bit of chaos happening. Too wide between the guys back in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. But out front, Jug has led John out of Sector 1. We have a yellow flag at the back. I believe that's Arabian Killer off the racetrack. And yeah, it is in that Aston Martin. Got a little bit of damage on the front end. Hopefully not too bad, and he can get back going here. But out front, it's very close between this top 3. And we got a little bit of a break to Cold Carnival. But these guys know how to race each other. They've done it so many times in the past, and they've provided me and you guys at home a great show, and we're hoping for another one tonight. As Jug a little bit tentative on the brakes, a little bit wayward for John, and that's going to allow his teammate BRL ACC to go around the outside into the penultimate corner and get that one done. Beautiful move from Skeppy, taking advantage of John wide on the apex and the exit, but that'll be costly for John's championship if that proves to be a crucial move of the race. If Lexus of Jug is going to be able to get away. Pit lane is now open for your mandatory pit stops of the night. Oh, we've got cars off at the back. That's Radicus and Cold Carnival off into the inside barrier. They got together through turn 1. And Radicus will let everybody through. He's going to have some damage on that race car that will most likely be needed to be fixed straight away here. But that's an unfortunate break. He qualified so well in that Porsche, because I know that's a difficult car to get a lot of pace out of. So unfortunate for him tonight. Off to a great start, but that's the beauty of this format. You could have a bad race 1, but it doesn't matter if you are in contention for race number 2. So all he's got to do is try and salvage something out of this one, make sure he finishes the race, stays in the session, and he's going to be all good to go. New car for race 2, so not to fear for him, as John and Skeppy still very close together here. They're still close to Jug as well, about a second gapping Skeppy and Jug at the moment. John's looking for a way around his Mercedes teammate. Owner in a bit of a lonely P4 at the moment, not quite on the pace of this top 3, but he's definitely pulled away from the likes of Ichigo Gert, Lucci behind. Right now, focus on this championship and race lead battle as Jug continues to lead. Looked a little bit slow through that section, and Skeppy's definitely closed the gap through there. He's had a nice set of corners, and he's pulled away from John. So Skeppy seems to have a bit more race pace, as he normally does, compared to his qualifying pace, which is nice to see. We get a nice 3-car battle out of this one, hopefully. Just hope that car doesn't drop off in the long runs or on the second stint, because that does happen a lot in this game. You might set up the car perfectly for the beginning, but if you don't have it for that end result, fortunately, it's not going to go your way. Arabian Killer has made his pit stop and is a lap down, but he's made his mandatory stop of the night, so he will be able to go to the end if he's got enough fuel and tires in that race car, which he should. Should not be an issue. Jug under pressure a little bit from Skeppy here, as he's all over the back of him. Heading into the hairpin, looks for the move, but cannot do anything about it. Skeppy likes to make people look a little bit foolish on the brakes, but Jug knows better than that. That's why he's our championship leader, and he's proving why right now with a little bit of skill and moment, keeping that Lexus planted on the racetrack. Back straight. Everybody spreads back out. It looks like Jug's had a nice set of corners, and he's going to be able to pull away. We'll jump backwards a little bit to our battle here in the midfield, as we've got Lucci getting by Gert. That is for P6. Lucci and the Ferrari looking to have a nice night. A little bit further back is Deer Hunter, Alpha Nisus, Palm Tree Oil, all together for 8th as well. So battles all up and down this field. Gertz looks to have some pretty good pace. So does Lucci and Ichigo. All these guys looking quite good. Top 3 still staying quite close together, within a second from Jug to Skep at the moment. John half a second off of his Mercedes companion. This battle pack for 5th continues to show some battles as Alpha Nisus goes up the inside of Deer Hunter into the left-hander. Deer a little bit wide off the racetrack, might be under pressure here from the McLaren of Palm Tree Oil behind. Alpha Nisus will jump up into 8th place and go to track down Gert and Gucci. That's a spin for Deer Hunter. Might have got a tap from behind. Yes, he did, from Palm Tree Oil. Both of them off the racetrack. Game Stopper coming through, as well as Radicus at the back here. Radicus looks a little bit faster than Game Stopper at the moment. He's looking around the outside. That's not going to work. Into this next right-hander. To stick behind for now. John John's lost a little bit of time to the top 2. Skeppy really good through this first section of racetrack and final corner as well, it seems, to be able to get the run down the hill. John John's going to be closing back up to these guys, I think. At the moment, Skeppy's got a lot of pace in that Mercedes. Jug looks to be struggling just a little bit, but the dirty air is keeping him barely ahead for the time being. As yeah, John John's trying to get back in this fight. Closing up. About a second off of them. A yellow flag in the back. I believe that's Cold Carnival off. Yes, it is. He's already made his pit stop, so hopefully he didn't get any damage. He's going to be able to get back onto the track safely and not in anyone's way. So, unfortunate start for Cold Carnival here tonight. Still just keeping ahead enough so that Skeppy is not in dive bomb range to go for something outrageous. Again, a difficult racetrack to pass around here at Brand Hatch. It's very tight, narrow, and there's grass and gravel everywhere if you go off that racetrack. So you can't force anyone off because that will absolutely destroy their race and you'll get some kind of penalty for it. But it's also very difficult to make a move where neither of you bang doors. So you gotta find that balance when trying to overtake to be as aggressive as possible but not ruin the other driver's race. So we'll see if Skeppy can muster up anything. John John's losing a little bit of time now. He's a second and a half off of Skep at the moment as Jug looks to be up in the pace. Owner in a world of his own. He's got 6 seconds up to the next car ahead, and it should go 9 seconds behind as Palm Tree Oil is into the pit lane for his mandatory pit stop of the night. Might have a little bit of damage from that collision with Deer Hunter, but he'll go a lap down and get that all fixed, and we'll be good to go. He'll fall behind Cold Carnival. Stay ahead of Arabian Killer. Skeppy's still very close. It does not surprise me that Skeppy's got some good race pace here tonight at all. Does not surprise me one bit. He's always been great in the races. Oh, as I've come to just cursed him. He goes off the track. He's going to have dirty tires now. And again goes off the racetrack. Keeps it in a straight line, though. That's an important piece of it. But he's going to have some dirty tires, and he'll have to get them back in the temperature working range. And he's definitely lost quite a bit of ground to your race leader at the moment. And it looks like Jug is actually further away from Skeppy than Skeppy is to John John. So we'll get confirmation of that right here. 1.1 to Juggernog, but 7/10 back is John John from Skeppy. So very close here for this top 3. Any of these 3 can still win the race. GameStopper is in the pit lane. He's coming out now. And it looks like he is going to come out just behind Cold Carnival. That could be a battle that shapes up between number 21 and 73. Skeppy wide. Dead even between the top 3. They're all at the same gap of each other. 1.209. Jump back a little bit to Redeemer and Deer Hunter. It looks like Deer Hunter has gotten past Redeemer. And Redeemer's Ferrari teammate Knight will be on the back of him as well, I believe. Quite close in the midfield as well. We're almost at the halfway mark of race number 1 here. So it becomes the question, which will be superior, the undercut or the overcut between these top 3. Not exactly sure how much time you'd either gain or lose, or if it'll depend on the traffic for tonight. By the way, in that mandatory stop, you must change the tires as 5th and 6th come in. That is Ichigo and Lucci. So those 2, and Radicus as well, all coming in just before the halfway mark of the race. Yeah, you must change tires in your mandatory pit stop. So you can't just go in, put in a splash of fuel, and come back out. It's not how it works here, unfortunately. You have to change the tires. You're going to have to take that time loss. Where do you come out compared to the rest of the field? We'll get a good indicator soon once we see Ichigo, Gucci, and Radicus come out. They're about 15 or seconds off of the top 3, so we'll get a decent indicator on where they're going to come out once they finish their pit stops. Ichigo's coming out now. He's going to actually come out just in front of the race leaders. So they might get a little bit of traffic here as the 2 Mercedes come into the pit lane of Skeppy and John. We'll see now. Do they come out in any traffic? Calzone also coming in. He was the one I was worried about because he might have been the traffic, as well as Cold Carnival. But Cold Carnival will be a lap car if they're around him. So those 2 in the pits, along with Calzone, and now it's how fast does By Juggernaut go compared to the other 2 who are trying to get the undercut on the Lexus. If they can get a Mercedes 1-2, that would be an absolutely perfect result for them in the team championships. And of course, John beating Jug any day is great, because that is your championship battle. 5 points separate those 2 going into today, so it will be very close. Halfway through officially now, as Gert, Alphanesis, Redeemer, and Knight all jump into the pit lane. Hey, Catra is not in the lane. But that'll be 3 cars who have yet to make stops. It'll be Jug, Deer, and Catra, who's now into the pit lane. And here comes Jug, so only giving them a 1-lap undercut. Oh, he's hit the wall going in. Could be the interesting aspect of this race. And now it becomes the question, what happens between these 2, because now John has jumped Skeppy in the pit lane sequence and has gotten himself up into provisional P2, but will it be first after Jug cycles out? We're gonna get to see here in a moment's time. John just starting sector 3 now. Jug in the pit lane. You'll see the orange box turn green once he's starting to roll, and the pit stop has been completed. Does John have enough in this lap to pass by Juggernog? We've seen collisions coming out of the pit lane before. It's an interesting exit area. Jug's box has turned green. He's coming out now, and he's jumped Catra out of the pit lane. Catra did break there to let him go, and it looks like By Juggernog has kept the lead of the race. John has lost time and actually got very loose there as he had to avoid Catra coming out of the pit lane. So Jug in this sequence has gained massively compared to the Mercedes. It looks like the overcut was the way to go. And John will have to try and chase down By Juggernog for race 1 win. 2.6 seconds is your gap at the previous split line. Skeppy is gotten by Katra as well. So the Honda out of the way, and nicely out of the way as well. So no issues for the top three there. 2.5 now. So does John have a little bit more pace than what we thought? He was in the dirty air of 2 cars before on stint 1. Does he have what it takes in this second stint to try and close up to Jug and try and get by that Lexus? Huge for the championship if he can, but as long as he's one position behind Jug, it's not an overall terrible loss. So those two duke it out. Deer Hunter has stayed out long, by the way. He has not made his pit stop yet, and overcut could work for him because we've seen it did work for Jug. Could be the way to go. John still closing in though, 2.1 now. See the split line here. Did he find any more time through sector 1? So no, he has not. He's lost 2/10, 2.3 seconds now. Skeppy's fallen off the pace a little bit in stint 2. Unfortunately, 2.7 seconds off of John. These three have spread out a little bit. We have a little bit of a battle back for P9 and 10 as it's Alphanesis and Radicus side by side, and Radicus will get through on the Aston Martin for the top 10 position. So Radicus driving back through the field in that Porsche after a fortunate collision earlier on in the race. 4 seconds is the gap, so Jug finding a little bit of pace in his race at the moment. I believe that's a car slow, and that's Arabian Killer into the pit lane. So, unfortunate end to his race if that's where it ends. 10.5 minutes too early, as it's Game Stopper and Puncture Oil here for P12. Puncture Oil has gotten into the back of Deer Hunter already into this corner. He's looking up the inside. Doesn't have enough in his McLaren to go up the inside and get that one done, so he'll have to stick behind Game Stopper for now. It looks like he's got just a little bit more pace than that Bentley at this stage. So it's quite wide from Game Stopper, so I think Puncture Oil is looking, hounding it. This Bentley causing problems for him at the moment, and he's looking so close to the back of that Bentley at the moment. Really like that purple McLaren livery, pops very nicely with the metallic shine on it, but unfortunately we can't see it in front of the Bentley just yet. At least Puncture Oil very wide through turn 1, and that's probably gonna undo that. Alphanesis is slow, and he has to let by these two, so this now becomes a race for P11 here, and Alphanesis should jump into this battle as well once he gets back up to speed. Jug has actually caught Deer Hunter, who still has not made his pit stop yet, by the way. 9 minutes remain here, and this could play a crucial role if Deer Hunter decides, no, I'm not going to let Jug through easy. This is a position on the racetrack. He's allowed to fight it. You're allowed to fight even if you're a lap car. It's just up to you. So Deer Hunter can go and fight this one off if he so chooses. That's even if he gets a chance or an option, because Jug is looking very racy on the back of him. But at the moment, John behind this is absolutely loving this. If Jug gets held up through sector 3 here, one of the most technical parts of this racetrack, and Deer does stay ahead for the time being. 2 seconds is the gap. Monitor that once we get back to the start-finish line. Could be a lot lower if Deer Hunter is that much slower on the older tire, and obviously does not have the pace of these front 3. John very much closing in here on the top 2. We might see Deer Hunter pull into the pit lane this time by, because the leaders have caught him. Yes, he has. He's pulled in, but how much damage has that done to by Juggernaut's lead? Jug crosses the line. There's John. He's cut out 9/10 of a second in that one sector alone. And it's game on now between the top two. This is it. This is what you all have been waiting to watch and see between these two. 7.5 minutes to try and decide this one. 5 points separate them in the championship. Juggernaut leads John in the race. He leads in the championship. But if John gets this position, he will make that gap 1 point heading into race number 2, where he is on pole, by the way. So keep with us, folks, because we've got a lot of action to come. And I don't think this race is over just yet. Jug found 2/10 through sector 1 and 2. It's 1.5 now. So John's got to get on the gas here if he wants a shot to try and find a lunge on Jug. Straight. Has Jug found more time? Yes, he has. 2 seconds now is the gap. He's opening it up just a little bit. Going to check the calendar. So tonight at Brand Hatch, it's round number 9. Second to last race is at Imola, and that is a week from today on the 14th of November, so make sure you catch that as well, same time as always. And then the finale, November 21st at Bathurst. Special guest for that one to get a co-com going, because that's, I believe it's a 2-hour race to finish it off free. So Jug's looking quite good for the race win at the moment. This is turned on the heaters. John in front, and he's pulled off to the side nicely for Juggernog to get on his merry way to race. 5 minutes remain. 1.8 seconds is the gap. Jug to John, but John has to get close if he wants a shot at a lunge or a dive bomb to one of these tricky corners, so it's going to be quite tight if he can get there in time. He lost a lot of time through sector 1, though. 2.4 seconds back now. Gap is just sticking at the same pace. I'm not seeing anyone really gain that much of an advantage unless there's a mistake made somewhere. Does John have what it takes through sector 1? That's where he's losing the time compared to Jug. In the seconds gap at the moment, these two so even on pace. 0.3 now. John seems quite good through sectors 2 and 3, but just loses a little bit through 1, and it's making the difference at the moment in the lap time. Quite close towards the back for P number 7 is still on his charge up through the field, as well as Colt Carnival after I believe it was a lap 1 spin. Trying to grab 7th off of Gert. That's wide for Radicus. Probably a track limits warning, if anything. 1.999 is the gap now. Can John find what it takes in the last 2 minutes of this race? Number 1 out of 2 tonight to get Jug. Gert very slow through the fast right, and here comes Radicus. I just can't get a move on. That Porsche so good through the corners as, oh, he takes out Gert. Tried to go up the inside, and that was never gonna work. And that'll allow Cold Carnival to take over P7. Gert will stay ahead of Radicus. Radicus has some damage to that car. He's got to be careful to make sure Deer Hunter doesn't catch him up in the final dying moments of this one. That'll pretty much do it from those two. 1.8 now. John's finding a little bit of speed at the end of this stint at the moment. Does he have what it takes to try and get that gap up? We're going to go on board the Mercedes, and this might be why, because Jug is in a slew of traffic at the moment, and that is Palm Tree just ahead. You can see the tag showing up. He gets out of the way nicely of John. Jug is still behind GameStopper as well, should let him through. Final lap here in race number 1. GameStopper lets Jug go. 0.4 now is the gap. I just don't know if he has enough time. GameStopper gives John the inside. John's gonna have a clear shot. No lap traffic to decide these two between these two in this final lap. John is gonna have to try and get it on pure speed alone. 1.7 now. It's opened up a little bit. He's gonna have maybe one shot into the final corner if he can get close, but I don't think it's gonna be enough from John, unfortunately. I think Jug has just barely gotten the upper hand tonight. Alexis looks quite good at the moment. 1.7 is your gap. Unless Jug makes a mistake, I think he's got this one secured for tonight. Timer is out. Just a race back to the line. 1.4, but again, not enough time for John to go and chase down by Juggernog. It's gonna be the Lexus taking home race number 1 from pole to flag. By Juggernog will win here in Brand Hatch race number 1. John will finish in P2. Skeppy is gonna round the final corner and take home a respectable P3 on the podium, and Calzoner makes it a Mercedes 2, 3, 4. And we'll finish up just shy of a podium, but quite a ways off in the end, so he'll take home 4th. It's Ichigo and Gucci Lucci very close here for P5. Does Gucci Lucci have a shot to make a dive bomb up the inside of Ichigo if he gets close enough here through this final corner? Not close enough for a dive bomb, I don't think. Maybe he is. Later on the brakes, can he get the exit? Doesn't look like it. I think Ichigo's just gonna hold on for 5th place here in race 1. Yes, he will. Ichigo in the Audi will take 5th. Gucci Lucci will take home 6th. Cold Carnival will take 7th in a recovery drive. That was quite nice. Radicus 8th. Deer Hunter almost caught Radicus. He'll finish 9th. He did catch Gert, though, who will round out your top 10, and that's GameStopper, Palm Tree Oil, Alpha Nice's Redeemer, Knight CRLR, and Catra rounding out your finishers, and then it's Arabian Killer, who did not finish back in 17th, I believe. So those are your final results of the first race, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break and get back going for race number 2. We will get back to the grid for race number 2 here. So we're just waiting for the cars to get back lined up for the grid for race number 2. It'll be John leading by Juggernog and Skeppy, and then I believe it's Ichigo and Radicus running out the top 5. I could be wrong. How about that Mercedes 234 from them? A strong effort. They've got all the drivers up there. Unfortunately, Jug is solo tonight. Jug's teammates Neymar and Stylo are absent tonight, so that's unfortunate. So we're back on the grid, and these guys getting their setup changes locked in. Maybe making a little bit of an adjustment to race 1 after they saw how their result did or didn't go their way. So making sure they got everything lined up. It's Jug, John, Skeppy, Calzone, Cold Carnival, Ichigo, Radicus, Gucci Lucci, Gert, and Alpha Nesis. So
30 seconds.
30 seconds till we get going for race number 2 here.
20 seconds.
We're rolling for race number 2. And we're gonna get going here. We're gonna get on board Gert. Unfortunately, can't get any closer, but we'll get to see the chaos ensue from the midfield, and I should be able to see what happens between the top 2 of John and by Juggernog.
Green light, show them.
We are green for race number 2. it looks like it was a good start from Jug, and John has not gotten a great one. A little bit swirly for Gert here back in P9, but he's got clear of Deer Hunter on the outside. And he'll be able to go very deep into turn 2 and just barely makes the corner. He'll be alright. But there's Deer going up the inside. Oh, and that's Gucci Lucci on his outside now as well, and he should be able to close off the door, and that's a car off. That might be Gucci Lucci off there. Side by side with Alfa Nisis now here. So very close battling at the back here. That's Deemer in the background as well in the Ferrari. A lot of chaos ensues on lap 1, but Jug has pulled out his gap. .2 seconds. Skeppy has once again jumped John, so starting third has absolutely been crucial for him. Pit lane open for these guys. That's a yellow flag at the back. That's night off. Got to be careful to let go get in the way of Gert there, and he's alright. But unfortunately, not the start he would have wanted. Radicus, Alfa Nisis, Cold Carnival, Game Stopper, 4 cars into the lane on lap number 1. That's not how you want to be starting your half hour here. Fortunately for them. Calzone and Ishigo quite close for P4 here. John's going to have to try and find a way past Skeppy. Last time he did it in the pit lane, even though they pit the same lap. So if he can do that again, it'll be quite crucial for him because he's losing a lot of points to Jug over the course of this weekend. If he doesn't get... he doesn't beat Jug in this race, so... it'll be a net loss of about 8 points if you finish the second again, which will jump that gap up to 13, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with 2 races to go, it's quite a margin when these guys have been so good all season. Calzone looked up the inside of Ichigo there into the hairpin, but nothing doing for that Mercedes. Mercedes looking for a second 2, 3, 4 in a row. As John's all over the back of Skeppy here. Skeppy a little bit wide, but going to be able to keep up the speed. Tree oil and night into the pit lane as well, so very early stops for a lot of these guys. Skeppy and John so close together in these Mercedes, running very similar paint schemes with the red and black and the orange and black, but unfortunately losing some time here. Ichigo's under pressure from Calzone. Up the inside goes Calzone. Huge dive bomb on the brakes. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he can. A great move from Calzone up into P4, and he's going to be hoping to drive away from Ichigo here. Ichigo's got a nice run back, looking up the inside into turn 4. Very tight between these two. Still side by side now as Ichigo and Calzone are showing you can race around Brand Hatch. You can go side by side. It is possible. is not a myth. As Ishigo's going to carry the speed around the outside, and he's going to just barely edge out Calzone. A beautiful move by Ishigo, and he's going to be I'm very happy about that one, I'm sure, and that one will be one to look back on after the fact. So Ishigo moves back into fourth in the Audi, ahead of Calzone in the Mercedes. Jump back up a little further ahead. John and Skeppy still so close together in the same machinery. They're letting Jug get away, though. It's 2.3 seconds already, and Jug is very, very comfortable out front. That's a big mistake from Skeppy and a big one from John as well. Both the Mercedes get out of shape through turn 1, and John can't capitalize on Skeppy going wide. Skeppy's going wide again, and John's going to get through. Maybe a bit of team orders at play there, unless Skeppy just went too hard on the brakes there and asked a little bit too much of the tires. So John up into second. Let's see if he can try and track down Jug. 3.9 seconds, 23 minutes to do it. Well, I'm not sure if it's possible, but we will definitely see. See a little bit further back, Gucci Lucci and Arabian Killer, P7. Arabian Killer looking up the inside, not going to be doing anything on Gucci Lucci. Stays ahead in P7, and I think he would drive away. Gucci looks quite good there to drive away. Top 10 have not made pit stops yet, by the way. Bottom 6 have. That's an interesting strategy call from BRL Skippy quite early. Going for a massive undercut on these guys if they go long. So Skeppy into the pit lane, and we'll be looking to get some clean air and try and go and track down the top 2 on a bit of a different strategy. John's hovering around this 3.8 to 3.9 second gap to P1 of Jug. Now it's 4.0. Calzone into the pit lane behind Ishigo, looking for the undercut there. A little bit close for P11 at the moment. These guys behind Skeppy, who is quite a ways ahead at the moment of them. Almost, probably about a half a lap ahead. Catra's into the pit lane as well for her pit stop and coming out now in that Honda. It's an interesting car choice, but whatever she so chooses. 18 minutes remain. These guys still spreading out here. John's not making up any time to jug. 17 minutes. John into the pit lane, so going again for the undercut. It's going to be about 1 or 2 laps undercut on Jug. Ishigo is going to stay out still. He's going very long compared to, it was Calzone he was fighting. So, let's see. Does Jug respond? Yes, he does. He will respond. And will hop into the pit lane 1 lap after. It was John coming out on an undercut. And Ishigo will also come in just before the halfway mark. 15 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Let's see, where does Jug come out in comparison to John? John's coming around the final corner now. Jug is moving out of the pit lane, so it's going to be very close, but not really. It's quite comfortable by Juggernog. It's going to be about 5-second gap or so once everybody's back up to speed. Skeppy has come out and he's quite far behind as well. So overcut looks like it's been the way to go here tonight. Arabian Killer could be on for a good strategy call if he has enough fuel in that car and decides to keep going as well. I believe Deer Hunter did this strategy last race. He decided to elect not do that this time. Lucci coming out now as well, and he'll be right behind Deer Hunter, who is in 7th. So this is your state of play with 14 minutes remaining by Juggernog to John to Skeppy, Ishigo 5th, Calzoner 6th, Deer Hunter 7th, Gucci Lucci 8th, Redeemer 9th, Catcher 10th. Where does Arabian Killer file out once this one is settled? Not exactly sure. It should be somewhere around that top 10 mark, though. We got a little bit of a battle between Gert and Palm Tree Oil for 11th, so we'll hop on board this real quick. Side by side here, and it looks like Punctual is going to get through. And we'll take over that P11 spot, and we'll try and track down Katra in the Honda. .5 seconds is the lead, and it looks like we're on for a very similar podium to last time, unless this man right here in P4 can cause a little bit of disruption in Ishigo. Currently P4 looking to try and maybe get by Skeppy, who is maybe in cruise mode because he knows he can't catch the top 2, but if not careful, could be caught by Ishigo in 4th. 0.6 seconds is the gap. Keep an eye on that. We're going to jump back a little further. Deer Hunter has moved up into 6th place ahead of Gucci Lucci. Royal's getting quite close as well to Katra. See, that's the gap there. Down the main straight now. Will Palm Tree Oil be able to set something up into turn number 2 here? That'll be the hairpin. Doesn't look like he will be close enough at all, so we'll have to stay behind that Honda at least for one more corner. He's got a nice run off on the exit. Looking quite pacey compared to Catcher. Ultra Oil has been quite good through this corner here. He's made a lot of passes up the hill, but don't know if he's going to be close enough this time. Yes, he will. He'll go to the outside of Katra this time. It'll be the outside for Palm Tree Oil. Will he be able to hang it around? Yeah, I think he might, because Katra doesn't have the straight line speed in that Honda, and the McLaren will easily get by for P10. So Those two going at it. Jug actually coming into the frame behind them, lapping these cars. That's how short this racetrack is. The leaders are already getting to him with 2/3 down, 1/3 of this second race to go. Jug has a 4.5 second lead over John. I just don't think John's got enough time to make that gap up unless there's some mistake in there. And Ishigo is quite close now to Skeppy. He's still closing in. Gucci Lucci and Deer Hunter quite close as well for P6. Oh, off the track goes Deer Hunter. He's caught the grass on the right-hand side. Tires, and Gucci Lucci is going to be looking to fly around the outside here. Will he be able to stick it? No, it's going to be Deer Hunter keeping it on the inside. Gucci Lucci has to back out of that on the exit, so Deer Hunter stays in P6. Gucci Lucci looks to have some quite good pace, though, at this stage. 4.2 seconds now as he got 1.7 from Skeppy to Ishigo as well. So very, very close. Got quite a train there. That is a mix of drivers from Palm Tree Oil. It's got Katra and it's got Gert, but it's also got Jug and Jug and John in this little battle pack as well. They're trying to navigate the lap traffic as John's just at the back of this train and Jug is the second car in it. So Gert lets John go through. Gucci still close to Deer Hunter as well. Everything is kicking off here in the final 8 minutes as Gucci putting Deer under pressure, cannot get by. Now down the back straight. Doesn't look like he's going to be close enough this time by to be able to get that one. 4.2 seconds now is the gap to the lead. How close is Ishigo to BRL Skeppy? How 1.8? So it has maintained itself in that last lap. Still 4.2 for John. He's not making up enough time at the moment to try and chase down Jug. It looks like it'll be Jug up by, I believe it'll be 13 points after tonight. They're still trying to hold on to P6 ahead of Gucci Lucci. These two very even on pace, it seems. Maybe Gucci Lucci has a little bit more at this stage. And that's a big mistake from Deer, and Gucci Lucci's going to be looking around the outside. Oh, he's caught the grass on the entry curb, and he's cost himself the position on Deer Hunter after Deer Hunter made a mistake into the hairpin. So Gucci Lucci will have to regroup and try again. We'll jump up a little further ahead on the racetrack down into the final corner. It is Ishigo and BRL Skeppy. This is for the final spot on the podium. Can Ichigo catch and, more importantly, pass Skeppy? Because it's been quite difficult to pass all day long. That's a car off. That is Katra off. Lost 2 positions to Palm Tree Oil and Gert. Way almost made it to the end of the race without a major mistake from Katra. Still getting used to this game. Fairly new to it. Trying to get the hang of it. Obviously won the Tier 3 race at France last weekend in our F1 tiers. That would be this previous Friday night. I'm going to do the plug now before we get into some final section of this race action, and obviously we'll get our podium finishers interviewed from today. If Ichigo gets onto the podium, then we'll get to talk to both him and Skeppy, but if Skeppy holds on, we'll only have that top 3 of Jug, John, and Skep to talk to. if they so choose. But here comes Ishigo, looking to the outside into the final corner. Will he be able to get this one and hang it around? We saw him do it earlier on Calzoner, and it looks like he might be able to do it again. Still side by side between him and Skeppy. Oh, that's into the grass. Ichigo's got to try and hang on to the car. And Skeppy, it looks like he's going to be able to hang on to this one for now. But Ishigo's got a lot of pace in that Audi. Skeppy's car from last season. And Skeppy, I know, really loved driving that thing. And it's been quite obvious this season he's not had the greatest pace nor luck, to be honest, in that Mercedes. But, yeah, driving against Ishigo in that Audi, he knows how that Audi will handle and react, so might help in his defense against it. So we'll see how it goes. John has made some kind of mistake, I believe, or has gotten held up by traffic, and is now 6.5 seconds off of Jug with 4 minutes to go. Unless Jug makes some kind of mistake, it's looking like Jug is going to go back-to-back here tonight in Brand's Hatch, but this is it for the podium, and we've also got a bit of a battle for P6 between Deer and Gucci Lucci as well. We'll see who gets what, and as well keep an eye on Palm Tree Oil catching up to Redeemer. Redeemer's had a solid race here tonight, running P9. That might be a best of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So a good run for Redeemer tonight. This time, Ishigo's not side by side. He's flashing the headlights to Skeppy. These two are good friends on the track. They've raced each other for so long, and they know how to keep it respectful. Ishigo is looking up the inside into the hairpin. He's going to send one on the brakes, and Skeppy leaves the room. Ishigo up into P3 now in the Audi, and we have a different podium sitter tonight. That'll be 4 podium sitters, different podium sitters in the 2 races. There's Ishigo weaving the wheel. He's excited about that when he knows he's gotten himself up into the top 3 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Flashing the lights, weaving the steering wheel down the back straight. Jump back a little further to Gucci Lucci and Deer Hunter. Can Gucci Lucci get the run through turn 1 to try and send it up the inside like Ishigo into the hairpin? No, he doesn't. Deer covers it off quite nicely, but he's compromised a little bit of that exit, I believe. And here he goes. Gucci Lucci to the outside. Don't touch the grass this time. He's not going to, but cannot get the move done on the outside there. Deer Hunter, some excellent defending to keep that car as wide as possible and make sure he stays ahead for P number 6. These guys aren't catching Calzoner anytime soon, so this is it between these two for P6. Make sure they don't collide, though, because Arabian Killer in P8 will be looking to pick up the scraps as well. Palm Tree Oil has gotten past Redeemer for P9, so Redeemer has dropped back down to 10th, going to try and stay ahead of Gert. Can Skeppy get close to Ishigo now? They're in the hairpin. Next time by, Jug should cross the line and signal one more time around for these guys. It's been a dominant display so far from him. Still looking for a way around Deer Hunter. They know they got maybe 2 laps to do it. Deer wide through turn 1, but it looks like he's carried enough minimum speed compared to Gucci Lucci. They have a lap car ahead of GameStopper in the Bentley.
Leaders on final lap now.
Final lap for the leader. Gucci Lucci's trying to bang his way up the inside of Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter again defending quite nicely out of the hairpin. He's not gotten a great drive off there in many laps time, but he's been able to keep that position ahead of Gucci Lucci. Gucci Lucci does look a little bit quicker still in that Ferrari, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to get by. Redeemer is also going to try and stay ahead of Gert. He's got 1 lap to try and do so. Hopefully he can for his sake. Gert will be looking to jump into that top 10. Lap car, GameStopper not getting out of the way, so it's going to be an interesting fight here. Deer Hunter's going to have a little bit of dirty air and wash on that front of the car he did not have before, so it's going to be a different lap for him. side by side. Deer Hunter and Gucci Lucci into the penultimate corner. Deer Hunter again makes the car super wide and has stayed ahead, but Gucci Lucci not done yet. Still looking for a way around, cannot do so into the final corner. And it looks like Deer Hunter is going to hold on just about. Now Skeppy and Ichigo is looking quite good. He's still ahead in P3, and it looks like he's going to hold on. Meanwhile, out front, it's 2 from 2 tonight for By Juggernaut. He wins
The leader has finished the race.
the Brand Hatch GP ahead of championship rival TTM John, who will lose 8 points tonight in the battle, and it should jump up to a 13-point gap if my math is correct. Ichigo is going to come around the final corner. I don't say I didn't call it, because I did. Ichigo is going to grab a sneak podium here tonight for 3rd place in the Audi. Skeppy's going to fall short, but we should still get some podium interview to him from race number 1. Calzoner is going to round the final corner to come home P5, but then we've got a nice battle between Gucci Lucci and Deer. Deer has got passed by Gucci Lucci as we were focusing on the top guys finishing the race, but now into the final sector of this race. Deer giving it everything he's got, but the lap car of GameStopper gets in the way, gets punted off by Gucci Lucci. Might have a little bit of front end damage. Make sure you keep the car on the racetrack in the final corner here. He's just got to hold on one more corner to hold on in front of Deer, and he will. Gucci Lucci, after a hard-fought battle with Deer defended well, but just could not hold on, and Gucci Lucci will take home 6th. Deer Hunter finishes in 7th. Arabian Killer will finish up the night in P8. Palm Tree Oil in 9th, and Gert has actually grabbed P10 off of Deemer. Unfortunately for Deemer, he'll drop outside the top 10 in P11, but still a good race for him. Knight CRL R has finished in 12th, Katra in 13th after the one mistake we saw her go off the gravel at turn 1. GameStopper finishes 14th, as you can see, he gets spun out by Deer, not happy about something there. Alpha Nisus will finish 15th, Cold Carnival 16th, and Radicus rounds out the field in P17. So we're going to try and invite the top guys here. It'll be the top 4 from this race. We've got Skeppy and John in the party. I've also invited Ichigo and Chug, so hopefully they jump in as well. But we've got Chug as well. I'm Skeppy. Make sure you guys include your audio. Skeppy, if you don't mind, I'll start with you because you got your podium in the first race of the night. So that was quite a while ago now, but it's a 3rd and a 4th. It was looking good to start the races off. Unfortunately, second stint, what happened? Did it come down to pit strategy, or was it just overall car pace?
It was more so I generally kind of underfueled in the first stint, so the car was feeling really good, and then I actually had my math calculations off, so I put probably 10 liters too much in actually both second stints. So the car just wasn't really feeling it tire wear, just trying to push and keep the pace. I realized that the overcut was good, but I was losing so much pace in that second race in the first stint that I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for a massive undercut. And I actually missed my pit by 3 feet. Did the same thing as Jug, had to reverse. Lost even more time, so I lost an absolute crap ton to John, and after that it was just okay, if I just get 2 third places or a 3rd and a 4th, I'll be okay. And then the whole goal wasn't to win the championship or win the race today. It was just got to catch up to Solo. That's pretty much all it was, just make the best of what I could with what I was given.
And
Green light,
Do
green
that
light. Go,
you
go, go.
did, I believe. It should be pretty much even between you two going into the final two. Are you confident you can jump him in the standings if obviously it's on even footing, you both are able to race in the next two?
It's a tricky one, that's for sure. I'm the next two tracks I'm fairly good at, especially Bathurst. I just don't know how it is in this car. But Imola, I was doing some laps around there a couple weeks ago, and it was feeling pretty nice. So hopefully things will turn around these last two races.
Well, hopefully, for your sanity, and obviously, it's nice to watch you compete with the top guys out there. And I know you're wanting to get out of this Mercedes as fast as possible. So the faster you finish the final two, the faster you can get away from it.
The faster I can get back into my Audi, that's all I want.
Speaking of Audi, Ishigo, a P3, and I believe it was fifth in the first race.
Yep.
You are a late entry into the season, so you're not really anywhere in the standings. But a podium tonight, how's it feel?
It feels pretty good, you know. Like just moved back into my room, and the only problem was I got the wheel set up and the TV was 8 feet in the air because that's how the room is set up. So I decided today I just try to move it a bit lower, so now like level with like my eyesight, so that made it way better. I hadn't done any real practice this week. I was just in the McLaren doing open lobbies because I don't really like the Audi around here. But yeah, I was not looking forward to this race. Qualifying was as good as it would have gotten, P6 and then P4. Unfortunately, the P4 didn't carry over to race 2, but that's okay. Race 1 was decent, and fighting Gucci, really good fun with him. And then race 2, I made contact
Green light,
with
green light.
Carnival,
Go,
I
go, go.
think. Carnival, I think. Sorry about that. I couldn't do anything else. I was opposite lock, just trying to give him as much space as possible. But the way the corner lined up, he just had to go off the track. But yeah, and then fighting Skeppy, that was the highlight of the weekend.
Absolutely.
I know he was struggling, but I had a lot of fun screwing around with him. I was really trying to put him under pressure. We went side by side a few times, but yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah,
I
we
was
got to
really
see
happy
you.
with my overtake.
We saw you flashing the headlights and leaving the wheel a lot, so it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And congratulations on the third. Final two races. Do you have any expectations, or are you going in just having more fun?
This Audi, no, not really. It's very bipolar, at least in my hands. Spain and Nürburgring, I was really good. Spain fighting for the podium until the server died. Nürburgring leading the race for most of the race, and then the server died. Thankfully, it didn't happen at Brand Hatch, and I got a overall result of P4. So next two rounds, I like Imola. I like Bathurst, even though I've raced there since season 1, but Imola, I think, in the Audi might be good, and Bathurst will have to wait and see. I haven't done any serious running there since season 1 in the Ferrari, so we'll see.
We'll see
I'm just
how it
looking forward
goes.
to getting the McLaren next season.
Sounds good. Back to the McLaren. Obviously, we're in it previous season and grabbed a couple podiums as well there. So a lot of people going back to their roots on cars. But John will be up next. It's 2 second places. You'll lose, I believe it's 8 points, if I'm not wrong, overall from today. Talk us through. Obviously, I think a big part of the race was starts and maybe pit strategy to jug. Other than that, you two were quite close on pace.
Yeah, it's just I tried everything to try and find something pace wise, and it's just we were pretty much doing identical laps, so it's like I couldn't figure anything out to do or push any car harder because if I probably tried to push it any harder, I'd probably be in a wall somewhere. So I had to really care. And then pit stops. I mean, it's a little annoying when you do it perfectly and then somehow your rival still gains time, even though he hits the wall, repairs the damage, and still gains like half a second. So that's just like, all right, that's annoying. And then race starts. That is probably my worst 2 race starts I've had this season, where I just couldn't do anything. And Brand Hatch around the outside is hard anyway. It's
Yeah.
just trying to stay in that position for the whole lap, and then not to lose time or lose grip or lose heat in the tires, especially in that second start, because I had low tire pressure even though I pressed drive pretty late. So I don't know how that happened. Probably because colder temperature, overcast. So that's probably what it was. But it's just annoying. And it's just obviously I wanted to at least split with Jug in the races, but just no. I was hoping back market traffic would really hurt him, but it didn't for a little bit, but just not enough.
Yeah, it kind of evened out.
Try something.
Yeah, it brought him a little bit closer, and then you caught the traffic, so it just went straight back. So it was unfortunate today. So I believe I'm not counting Nürburgring. I don't know what the points is from there.
Yeah, I think we scrapped Nürburgring, so I think it's a 13-point lead.
Yeah, 13, 2 races is possible. Can you get it done?
Well, I'm probably going to be driving pissed at Imola since last season was a disaster.
Yes.
So I'll probably be sweating my ass off and basically driving pissed there. And then, this might sound crazy, but I'd rather honestly be second to the championship behind Jug going into Bathurst. Because Bathurst, anything can happen there. Anything.
Absolutely.
For a 2-hour race for happen there, I could care less if I'm 1 point behind. I would not want to be ahead going into Bathurst in the championship. No.
Thanks.
That would be really hard. I heard.
Well,
Just trying to get in my head.
unless next week
Is
goes
it working?
absolutely
Yes.
horrifically. Unless next week goes absolutely horrifically for Mr. Jug, he should be ahead into Bathurst. But tonight it was 2 from 2. Good starts. The pit strategy worked out your way. Obviously, you had some interesting times in the pits, from my knowledge. So, I don't know if do you have anything interesting from the race, or was it just was taking it easy, just managing the gap.
Yeah, I mean, the first pit stop definitely confuses me how I gained time. Like you said, I hit the wall on entry. I actually didn't repair the damage, but I did go too far and I had to reverse. Luckily, I was able to pay off the pit crew, so I got out of there a few seconds faster, and that's how I got ahead, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, in practice, it didn't feel too great, to be honest, but once I got in the race, it felt pretty smooth. And second race, I'm surprised John actually didn't bring this up. He was supposed to start first in that race, actually. He had gotten pole in qualifying too, and the game doesn't handle back-to-back races well, I guess, where you go 2 qualifyings and then 2 races. Like, it doesn't match the second qualifying to the second race. And so I was stuck in first, and we were trying to figure out how to switch positions, and they told me to keep it because I knew Skep would send it on me if I slowed down for John. And then I think it's just that initial few second gap straight off the bat kind of won me the race, to be honest, because as you saw, Jean was rapid. We were doing exactly the same pace pretty much. And he was actually gaining on me near the end, I think, until he got damaged from one of the back markers. So, I mean, you saw from qualifying, the similarity in pace is absurd. I definitely expect him to have an advantage at Imola. I know Skep's really strong around there. I think John out-qualified me last season. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I feel pretty good in the car around Bathurst, but anything can happen, like you said. It just takes one hit of the wall into last place, and
Absolutely.
it's all over. So, see.
So, 2 to go. You're confident in at least maintaining the lead into Bathurst, or do you think John's got something up his sleeve, and maybe the rest of the field does in Imola?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope so, of course, but I think that that race, obviously, if I can win, that'd be great. But my goal, kind of at Imola, is just to end up with P2, because I know that both Skep and yeah, exactly. John and Skep are both incredibly fast around there, and if I end up behind both of them, then we're back at a 5-point lead. And if I can maintain, if I can get second at Imola and end up 9 points ahead into Bathurst, I think we're doing double points at Bathurst. I'm not sure yet.
I believe so.
And if we
I'll have
do,
to check it, yeah.
Yeah, and if we do and I'm 9 points ahead, then I'll be safe with a second place with him at first. But if I get third, at Imola, I pretty much have to win Bathurst if John's in the lead. So see how it all turns out.
Well, we will definitely see, because the next 2 weeks are the final 2 races of our season number 3, and should be all set to go on that. So make sure you guys tune in from next week at 7 and the weekend after at 7 as well. Hopefully for the final race I'll have a little bit of a special guest for Bathurst. Someone who loves it more than I think anyone else in the world. You might already know who it is. But we will see about that. Make sure you guys tune in. This next week up is Austria for our F1 tiers, so make sure you guys get in tune for those races. And yeah, we'll see you in the next upcoming week. That's it from me and the rest of the guys out here tonight. I say goodbye.